Hello guys, full time on the Huddersfield game, full time on Arsenal's Premier League campaign, and full time on Arsene Wenger's Arsenal reign. It is over 22 years, more than 1,000 games, many more than 1,000 games actually, and nearly 3,000 goals, I think it is, and it is all done and dusted. A very strange feeling. An odd game, really, all in all, an odd day. I mean, this was a match where the pressure was kind of off for both teams. Arsenal knew they'd finished sixth. Huddersfield had their safety secured by that extraordinary Chelsea game in midweek. So I guess there was an atmosphere of celebration to an extent, but also an atmosphere of calm. Neither side needed the points, and I think ultimately Arsenal probably just wanted them that bit more because they wanted to send off Arsene Wenger with 3 points, whereas for Huddersfield the race was very much won for them. They had stayed out, and that was really what their season was all about. It was probably a fairly even game all in all, but a draw would have been fair. But Arsenal edged it thanks to a goal from Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. He is the man who scored the final goal of the Arsene Wenger reign. I suspect there may be a few more to come. He finishes the season with 10 goals, I think 13 Premier League appearances. It is an outstanding start to his time in English football. I can't really think of someone hitting the ground running in such spectacular fashion. I guess when you pay £60 million for a 29-year-old striker, that is what you expect, but it's not necessarily something we're accustomed to at Arsenal. He is delivering marquee-level performances for a marquee signing. And I suppose what's interesting about it is it's not so much the performances. His all-round game has been good, but not astonishing, but it is that goal-scoring ability, and his goal today was exactly the kind of goal that Arsenal don't score enough of and haven't scored enough of in recent years. When you think about the Atletico Madrid tie, the fact that we went out, we only scored once across the two legs despite a plethora of opportunities from wide areas, fizzing the ball across. We couldn't have Aubameyang in those games, and I reckon if we had, he would have been in there in that 6-yard box, reaching out those telescopic legs, just as he did today, to poke home what was an excellent cross from the outside of Aaron Ramsey's boot, kind of Thomas Rosicky style. What to say about Arsene Wenger's final Premier League team? Well, no Petr Cech in the squad, not quite sure what's going on there. No Jack Wilshere, which is a worry for Jack, with Gareth Southgate's England squad announcement coming up in the next couple of days. I think Mohamed El-Neni was due to be involved, but then pulled out late, so Granit Xhaka played. We saw another outing for Rob Holding at centre-half. And Lacazette and Aubameyang again in tandem. And I think that's the other thing to say about Aubameyang, is that he is scoring these goals often from a wide position. I know people want to see him play through the middle. I know they want to see him play in a pure 2 with Lacazette. Maybe a new manager will do that. Maybe they won't. I don't think it's a disaster wherever he starts, because he doesn't stay fixed in those positions. He drifts, he makes runs into the 6-yard box, he switches positions with other players. And if it makes him harder to mark, if it allows him to evade central defenders, if it gives him a good position from which to see the game, to make those diagonal runs, I think it might be something worth persisting with. Look, it is working. And the man who broke the Premier League goal-scoring record for goals in a single season played in a wide position this season. So it's not quite the disaster, I think, that everyone is making that out to be. And I think Lacazette's very good centrally. I thought he was good again today. Such a good fulcrum player, very tidy technically. Lovely pass from him in the build-up to the goal too. I'll tell you one thing that was interesting about the starting 11. Alex Iwobi started, but as a deep line midfielder, probably the deepest I've ever seen him play for Arsenal, almost next to Granit Xhaka there, with Aaron Ramsey bombing on as kind of a pure and number 10. I do think Iwobi didn't actually have the best game. I think that could be a really interesting position for him. And I think that if Arsenal are going to play with a back 4 next season, it's got to be a tighter midfield 3. It's got to be Ramsey, Xhaka, and one more if Ramsey stays. And Iwobi, I think they'll bring somebody in, but he's somebody who could compete for that Ramsey position, for that other position in the midfield triangle. I think he's maybe better there than he is in the final third. I think he's a better continuity player. He's got that brilliant upper body strength. He's got that big backside that allows him to hold people off, to spin into space. He's got close control. I think it's an interesting development in his development. What else to say about the game? Huddersfield, as I say, probably deserved something. I thought David Ospina did pretty well. He was injured twice in the course of the game, but to be fair to him, he was brave. He was more commanding than normal. He was good with his feet. good game from Ospina. Helped us out because we didn't cope brilliantly with what's the name of the Huddersfield striker? Meunier. We struggled to cope with his physicality, and although they only had 3 shots on target, he managed the space very well, which he doesn't normally do. Might be his last Arsenal appearance. Time will tell. Anyway, credit to Huddersfield. They played well, and their fans were exceptional. They gave Arsene Wenger a tremendous ovation. I'm sure something that will live very long with him. I mean, it always means a lot when the opposition fans sing and chant your name or give you a standing ovation. We all remember Thierry Henry at Portsmouth, and I think it will have meant a lot to Arsene Wenger, who had a really good day. There's some great pictures. I think Charles Watts, at Charles_Watts, has them on his timeline, of him after the game, after he was forced to go down the tunnel because there was a pitch invasion by the Huddersfield fans. He came back out, took his bow, final bow in front of the Arsenal fans, and he looked so happy. He looked so liberated. The smile on his face. I haven't seen him like that for a really long time. For years, I would say. I'd say even the FA Cup wins, they weren't as purely unrestrained as that, maybe since 2014. So that was fantastic to see. He was sad in his post-match press conference and in his post-match interviews, reflecting on this extraordinary period of his life. But I think the last few weeks have been an outpouring of affection, and I hope that he's really going to let that sink in and enjoy the adulation that he really does deserve. I think even whatever your feelings about Arsene Wenger's last few years in charge of the club, the respect that's there is absolutely enormous. And now we start thinking about the future. It's going to be fascinating to see, isn't it, what happens. Lot of talk about Mikel Arteta at the moment, and Pep Guardiola didn't do much to dampen that down in his post-match interview. That seems to be where all the smoke is at the moment. So, well, I've got a few thoughts on that. I mean, but I feel like that's probably best saved for another day. Look, lovely to finish with a win, lovely to get that horrible away record off our back. And now it's all about moving forward. It's all about the future. It's interesting times we're about to enter. But thank you for watching these videos all through the season. I'll be keeping them going throughout the summer. So I'll be talking to you then. But thanks for watching all these match reports and post-match thoughts. I really do appreciate it. Cheers. And if you want to say thank you to me, subscribe. That'd be great. All right, guys. Bye-bye.